Birth is preceded by the appearance of fluid from the ruptured yolk sac, and just before the young is born, the female vigorously licks the urogenital opening. If you watch carefully, you will be able to see one of the embryonic membranes, the allantoic sac, fall to the ground just as the animal moves. Now the young is born, enclosed in another embryonic membrane, the amnion, and quickly moves itself into a position where its head is towards the pouch opening. The young may be released from the amnion by the mother's licking or by the use of the sharp claws which are present on the front limbs at birth. During the early part of its climb to the pouch, the young is attached by the umbilical cord to the yolk sac. Eventually this cord is broken, sometimes by the licking action of the female, and the young is attached only by its grip on the fur. The time taken for the young to reach the pouch is about 3 minutes, ranging from 1.5 minutes to about 4.5 minutes. During birth and the journey to the pouch, the young seems to be ignored by the female, who concentrates on licking blood and birth fluids from the fur. The female does not lick a track for the young to follow, but licks mainly behind the young, removing all traces of its passage. After the young has reached the pouch, the female remains in the birth position, licking the fur. Fluid will continue to ooze from the urogenital opening for up to 40 minutes after birth, and all of it is carefully licked up by the female. In the film we've just seen, it was difficult to observe the moment of birth because of the movement of the female as she continually licked the fur. So, to see this more closely, it is necessary to anesthetize a female with Nembutal a few minutes before the young is born. This female is anesthetized. Again, a few milliliters of fluid from the ruptured yolk sac appear just before birth. The young is born head first, enclosed in an embryonic membrane, the amnion. Once released from this membrane, the young starts to make its way over the fur to the pouch. The young, at birth and for some time after, is attached to the yolk sac by the umbilical cord. This cord stretches and eventually breaks as the young makes its way to the pouch. Sometimes the cord is broken by the licking of the female, but with this anesthetized animal, the cord had to be broken artificially. The umbilical cord is attached to the yolk sac, which is still in the birth canal. The newborn red kangaroo, as with the newborn of other marsupials, is entirely without fur. It is blind and lacks even the development of organs giving a sense of balance. However, those centers of the brain concerned in the sense of smell are well developed, and the nostrils are open and large. During its climb to the pouch, only the front limbs are used, since the hind limbs, which become so large later in life, are mere buds at this stage. The fur below the pouch lies in such a way that the ends of the hairs point towards the midline, so that the young kangaroo crawls in the general direction of the ends of the hairs, over the fur rather than through it. Now the young has reached the edge of the pouch after its remarkable journey over the fur. Once inside, it will stay there for about 6 months before it starts to leave the pouch for short periods. As the young crawls down into the pouch, notice the lack of development in the hind limbs, and that they are not being used for locomotion at all. On this female, the pouch is being held open so that the young can be filmed. With the pouch held open like this, it's unlikely that the young will attach to a teat because it seems to need the ventral wall of the pouch as support while drawing the teat into its circular and terminal mouth opening. Later, it finds and attaches itself to one of the 4 teats. Its tongue is large and muscular and capable of a suction pump-like action. This sucking stimulus on the teat causes the release of clear fluid on which the newborn young lives. As it grows, this fluid will become more like the usual milk of mammals. Once it has attached, the young maintains a strong grip on the teat, which forms a bulbous swelling inside the mouth. It is because of this that many people have been led to believe that the young kangaroo was born on the teat, presumably by some process of budding off.